In northern Syria, near the city of Kobani, the American military has regained control of a military base that was pompously occupied by Russian troops in 2019. At that time, Russian propaganda actively circulated reports about the triumph of its contingent, accompanying the events with a staged landing of Russian troops and statements about clearing the territory of the now empty base. In fact, the base was abandoned by the Americans in advance, and no resistance was offered to the occupiers. However, this did not prevent the Russian military from filming numerous staged videos in order to create the appearance of strategic success. 5 years later, the stars and stripes flutter once again over Kobani, and Russian troops have hastily abandoned the facility. The reasons for their flight are obvious: increasing pressure from Syrian rebels and the inability to maintain control over key areas amid geopolitical challenges and the growing US military presence in the region. Meanwhile, in Syria, Russian bases in Tartus and Latakia remain the main points where the remnants of the occupation contingent are being concentrated. But even here, the Russians face constant provocations from the rebels, who demonstratively show them their middle fingers and the soles of their shoes, a serious insult in Islamic culture. The return of the Americans to Kobani symbolizes not only their confident presence in the region, but also the collapse of the Russian strategy built on propaganda and a show of force. Analysts from the Institute for the Study of War analyzed the situation around the naval base in Tartus and the airbase in Kharkiv in Syria. Deputy Foreign Minister of the Russian Federation Mikhail Bogdanov announced the establishment of contacts with HTS in Damascus. Allegedly, Russian troops are allowed to remain at 2 military bases. At the same time, according to Bogdanov, there is no need to say anything specific about the distant future. He also stated that the Russian army in Syria will continue to fight terrorism. Thus, the Kremlin is making it clear to the new Syrian leadership that Putin's army plans to stay in the country as long as possible. One of the Russian war correspondents wrote on December the 11th that the rebels had surrounded the Kharkiv base and were provoking Russian troops. According to him, the Kremlin managed to reach an agreement with the Syrian opposition on a 75-day stay of the Russian armed forces at 2 military bases. Experts write that the rebels themselves are a heterogeneous mass consisting of many separate groups. It is not yet clear how they will resolve the issue of the Russian army's presence in Syria among themselves.
Israeli combat aircraft launched missile strikes on military targets in the Latakia and Tartus provinces in western Syria. It is noted that loud explosions were heard. Also, IDF aircraft attacked military facilities located in the provinces of Hama and Homs. According to the Al Mayadeen, multiple explosions were heard in the city of Jebla in Latakia. Explosions were also heard in Tartus. Al Mayadeen reported that the explosions occurred in rural areas east of Tartus, and that the strikes targeted ammunition depots and other facilities. Israel has previously struck Syrian territory, both before and after the fall of President Bashar al-Assad. On December 9, an air defense facility near the port of Latakia was hit. On December 14, Al Mayadeen reported strikes in Tartus and Latakia. The Israeli army reported strikes on the Syrian fleet and air bases. After the fall of President Bashar al-Assad's regime in Syria, the Israeli army entered the territory of the Republic for the first time since the 1970s outside the buffer zone on the Golan Heights. Israel has controlled them since 1967, following the Six-Day War. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated that the Golan Heights will forever remain part of Israel. On December 9, the Syrian Permanent Mission to the UN, on behalf of the government of the Republic, called on the Security Council of the organization to prevent Israel from benefiting from the change of power in Damascus. The permanent representative of Syria to the UN, Qusay al-Dahak, noted that Israeli troops must leave Syrian territory.
الله أكبر. يا إلهي. آخ. صوت.
فاحت ريح البارود وسط ريح له